The alien marketplace was loud. Traders shouted. Buyers argued. Bright lights flashed. Food smells filled the air. But one corner was quiet. Too quiet. In that corner stood a small iron cage. No one looked at it. No one went near it. The smell. There was bad, like rotting cloth and dirty water. Inside the cage sat a girl, not a human, an alien girl. Small, thin, and shaking. Her skin was covered in mud, bruises, and cuts. Her white hair looked gray from dust. Her clothes were torn and full of holes. Everyone called her the Dirty One. "She's disgusting," one alien whispered. "Why is she still here?" said another. "She's worthless." People passed by quickly, covering their noses. Some even laughed, but she didn't move. Her head was down, eyes closed, like she didn't hear anything, like she didn't care. Then came a human soldier. He had short black hair, a long coat, and tired eyes. His name was Raylan. He was just passing through the market, looking for supplies. But when he walked near the cage, he stopped. Something pulled him toward it. He heard a voice. Not loud, not strong, a soft broken whisper. "Please ... help me ... Raylan turned his head. His eyes met hers through the bars. And in that moment, everything around him went silent. Her eyes were not dead, not empty. There was something inside. Them pain, yes, but also ... hope. Raylan stepped closer. The trader standing nearby laughed. "You don't want that one, human," he said, spitting on the ground. "She's broken. Been sitting there for weeks. We thought she'd die already." "What's her story?" Raylan asked. "Who cares?" The trader shrugged. "Slave from a failed raid. She's weak, dirty, useless, not even good for cleaning. Floors, no one wants her." Raylan looked at her again. She still sat silently, but now ... her eyes were wet. She was crying, but not loud. Silent tears down her dirty cheeks. "Name your price," Raylan said. The trader laughed harder. "You serious? I don't repeat myself." "Fine, 5 credits." "Take her. I don't care." Raylan handed over the credits. The cage door creaked open. The trader tossed him a small rusted key and walked away. Raylan stepped inside. The smell hit him, but he didn't flinch. He knelt beside the girl. She flinched when he reached for her. She covered her face with shaking hands. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said gently. She didn't move. He slowly put his arms around her. She was so light, like she hadn't eaten in days. She didn't fight him. She just whispered one word. "Why?" Raylan paused. "Because no one else did." He carried her through the busy market. Everyone stared. Some laughed. Some pointed. "Crazy human," someone said, "carrying trash." Another laughed, but Raylan didn't stop. He held her tighter. When they reached his transport ship, he gently placed her on the seat and gave her a blanket. She still didn't speak, just looked at him with wide eyes, unsure, confused. "Are you hungry?" he asked. She nodded slowly. He gave her a protein bar and a bottle of clean water. She took them like she thought they'd be taken away. She ate in small bites, careful, slow. "What's your name?" he asked. She stayed quiet. "Can I call you something?" After a moment, she whispered, "Lyra." "Lyra," Raylan said with a smile. "That's a good name." She looked away. "It was my mother's name. She gave it to me before they took me." Raylan didn't ask who they were. Not yet. He could see the pain in her eyes. "We'll talk more later," he said. "But first, let's get you clean." She looked at him, confused and scared. "Clean?" "Yes," he said. "A shower, you need it." She pulled the blanket tighter around her. "You single quotes LL ... see me." Raylan shook his head. "I'll wait outside the door. I promise, you'll have space. I just want you to feel ... human again." She stared at him like he had spoken magic. Human again? The ship lifted off, flying toward his small house far from the city. Lyra sat quietly, still shaking that no one had touched her kindly for a long time. No one had fed her, or spoken her name, or looked at her like she mattered. Until now. As the ship flew through the stars, Lyra leaned her head back and closed her eyes. Maybe this human was different. Maybe. Just maybe. She wasn't trash after all. Cliffhanger ending. Raylan looked at her one more time and said, "Once we land, I'll run you a hot shower. You'll feel better, I promise." She didn't answer, but a single tear rolled down her cheek. She whispered so softly he almost didn't hear, "Thank you for not leaving me behind." The ship landed just as the twin suns of the alien planet touched the horizon. The sky turned orange and gold, like a painting. But Lyra didn't notice that she was staring at her hands. Even after the ride, the blanket, and food, they were still dirty. The dark stains were not just mud, they were shame, fear, and the past. No amount of air could blow those away. Raylan opened the ship door. A warm breeze touched his face. His house stood nearby, small, simple, hidden between two hills. No guards, no tech traps. Just peace. He looked back at Lyra. She hadn't moved from the seat. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe here." She hesitated, eyes scanning the strange place. Then, slowly she stood. Her legs wobbled like sticks. Raylan offered his hand. She didn't take it, but she walked beside him. The door opened with a soft hiss. Warm lights came on inside, not too bright. The air smelled clean. There was silence, no shouting, no chains, no cages. To her, it felt unreal. Raylan led her to a small room. Inside, a sink, mirror, towel rack, and a tall silver shower stall. She froze. "This is the bathroom," he said. "You can shower here. Take your time." She backed away. I don't know how," she said, voice shaking. "They never let me." He stepped forward, careful not to scare her. "It's simple. I'll turn it on. You stay inside. The water is warm." "It doesn't hurt." He pressed a button. Water began to fall softly from the top of the stall. Steam rose. It smelled clean, like rain on dry ground. Lyra stared at it like it was magic. "I'll leave clothes here," he said, placing folded clothes on the counter. "And I'll wait outside. I won't look. I promise." She looked at him with wide, wet eyes. "Why are you kind to me?" He smiled, tired but true. "Because no one was kind to you before. That ends now." He turned and left, closing the door behind him. Lyra stood still for a long time. The water called to her, so strange, so warm, so human. She dropped the torn cloth from her body. Her skin was covered in marks, old wounds, new bruises, deep cuts. She stepped into the shower. The first drop of warm water hit her shoulder. She gasped. She had forgotten what warmth felt like. Real warmth, not from fire or punishment, but from care. The water ran down her arms, her back, her legs. Dirt turned into dark rivers and flowed down the drain. Her pale skin began to show under the mess. The bruises, the pain, they were still there. But for the first time, they didn't feel like they owned her. She stayed in there for a long time. Her eyes closed. She let the water touch every part of her. Not with force, not with pain, but with peace. She touched her own face. It felt strange, like it didn't belong to her, but it did. This was her face. She stepped out slowly, wrapped in a towel. Her hair dripped onto the floor. She saw the mirror. Her reflection stopped her breath. She didn't look like the dirty one anymore. She looked like Lyra. Outside the door, Raylan waited. He sat on the floor, leaning against the wall. Eyes closed, arms crossed. When the door opened, he stood up quickly. Lyra stepped out. The towel hugged her small frame. Her white hair now shone like moonlight. Her eyes met his, and for the first time they held light, not fear. "Thank you," she said softly. Raylan nodded. Feel better? She paused. I don't know what this feeling is, but I think it's hope. He smiled. You'll get used to it. She looked down. Am I still ugly? Raylan shook his head. You were never ugly. You were just hidden. Later. She sat on a soft bed, real bed, not cold floor. She wore clean clothes. She hugged her knees and watched the stars through the window. Raylan brought her tea. She held the cup like it was treasure. You don't have to sleep on the floor, he told her. I know, she said, voice sleepy. But I need time, my mind is still in the cage. He understood. You take your time, he said. No one's rushing you. That night, when the house was quiet and the stars blinked above, Lyra whispered to herself, maybe I'm not broken. She curled under the blanket. The warmth wasn't just from the bed. It came from something deeper. Safety, dignity, a second chance. And all because one human didn't walk past her cage. Cliffhanger. Ending. Just before sleep took her, a sharp pain hit her head. A flash of light in her mind. A face, a voice, a metal room. A secret implanted deep inside her. She gasped. Her eyes flew open. They didn't just hurt me. They put something inside me. Lyra woke screaming. It wasn't a loud scream. Just a choked sound, caught in her throat like something trapped inside her mind was trying to break out. Raylan rushed into the room. The lights came on with a soft glow. Lyra sat curled up, clutching her head, eyes wide with terror. They were cutting me, she whispered. I saw them again. Raylan sat down beside her, careful not to touch. Just a nightmare, he said. You're safe here. No, she shook her head. Sweat on her face. It wasn't just a dream, it was real. She pulled up her sleeve and showed him a deep scar on her arm. Not a normal one. It ran in a perfect line, like a machine had done it. Faint lights pulsed under her skin. Raylan leaned in, eyes serious. That's not just a scar, Lyra nodded. They put something inside me. I saw flashes. A lab. Humans. Wires. Needles. My body was on a metal table. Raylan's hands tightened. Experimentation, I think. I was a test subject, she said. But I don't know what for. They made me forget. Until now. Raylan stood and walked to his small tool locker. He returned with a scanner basic. But enough for shallow readings, he gently asked, May I check? She gave a small nod. The scanner beeped softly as it passed over her arm, her shoulder, her spine. Then it stopped. A red signal flashed. There's something there, Raylan said. Deep, near your spine. Tech. Her face went pale. Is it a bomb? Raylan shook his head. No. Not a bomb. It's data. Encrypted. Someone hid something. Inside you. Why me? She asked, voice shaking. Raylan looked at her gently. Because they thought no one would care about you. They made you look like trash, so no one would find what you're carrying. Lyra's breath caught. They turned me into a shell. To hide a secret. She stood up and walked to the mirror. She touched her scars again. But now she didn't see weakness. She saw proof. Proof she had survived. Proof they hadn't erased. Later that day, Raylan and Lyra sat at the small table. She drank soup slowly. He looked at a datapad, trying to trace the code inside her. There's something powerful inside you. Lyra, he said. She gave a dry laugh. That's funny. Everyone always said I was useless. Well, Raylan replied, they were wrong. She looked at him. What if I'm dangerous? Raylan answered without looking up. Then we figure it out. Together. That word together echoed inside her like music. The next morning, Lyra stood outside in the sunlight. Barefoot in the soft dirt, feeling the warmth on her skin. Hadn't felt the sun like this in years, not through a cage. Not from the floor of a ship. But with her eyes open, standing tall. Then she noticed something. A symbol on her wrist. Faint. burned into her skin. It wasn't a scar. It was a brand. She ran inside and showed Raylan. He stared at it and swore under his breath. That's not random. That's a military code. Human. From Earth. Her voice dropped. Are your people the ones who did this to me? Raylan looked angry, not at her, but at the truth. Not all humans are good, he said. And some hide their crimes behind labs and lies. She looked away. I thought humans were monsters. He touched her hand gently. Some are, he said. But not me. That night, a shadow passed over the house. A drone. Small. Black. Silent. Watching from above. Lyra didn't see it. But Raylan did. He walked outside and stared into the dark sky. They found us, he whispered. Cliffhanger ending. Back inside. Lyra traced the glowing line on her back with her fingers. There's more inside me, she said. Memories, secrets. Raylan placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we find them. But before he could speak more, the house lights flickered. A warning light blinked on the control panel. Unmarked ship detected. Inbound. They're not coming to ask questions, Raylan said, grabbing his blaster. Lyra stood behind him. No longer hiding. I won't go back in a cage, she said. Raylan nodded. Then we fight. Rain fell. Not hard. Just a soft tapping, like the sky was whispering. The sound hit the roof of Raylan's home, hiding the world in a gray blur. Inside, the lights flickered again. Lyra sat on the floor, her knees pulled to her chest, her eyes staring at nothing. But her mind was racing. Flashes. A cold table. Bright white lights above her face. Voices behind masks, metal arms. Burning pain in her back. A symbol glowing red. Then blackness. I remember more, she whispered. Raylan turned toward her. What did you see? They didn't just put tech in me, she said slowly. They used me to hide something. A code, a powerful one. I saw the screen. It said, Access, Omega Override, Defense Grid Control. Raylan froze. That was no ordinary code. That was planet-level access. They hid military access inside a child? He asked, stunned. Lyra nodded. I was just 12 when they took me. I think I wasn't meant to survive. I was just a carrier. Raylan sat beside her. And yet you did survive. They tried to wipe my memory after they were done with me. But pain has a way of remembering, she said softly. He leaned forward. We need to get it out. No, she said quickly. If it's removed wrong, it activates something. Raylan looked serious now. What kind of something? I don't know. A signal? A self-destruct? Maybe worse. Raylan paced the room. This explains why that drone found us, he muttered. Whoever put this in you is trying to clean their mess. He tapped the panel on the wall. We need to move, tonight. Lyra stood, unsure. Move? But where? To someone I trust. A human who left the system years ago. He was part of the military until he found out the truth. He might know how to safely decode you. Lyra touched her stomach, as if feeling the machine inside. Will it hurt? Probably. Raylan said honestly, but it'll set you free. The two packed quickly. Raylan grabbed supplies, medical kits, food, and one old datapad with military encryption. Lyra hesitated before leaving the bedroom. She turned toward the mirror once more. She no longer saw a prisoner. She saw a secret they tried to bury and failed. They flew in silence. The transport ship cut through the rainy clouds. Stars blinked above. Lyra sat by the window, eyes searching. The dark. You saved me, she said suddenly. Raylan kept his eyes on the controls. You saved yourself. I just opened the door. No one ever looked at me the way you did, she whispered. Not like trash. Not like a tool. You looked at me like I mattered. Raylan said nothing, but his hand reached out. She took it. And in that small moment, everything changed. The ship approached a rocky moon. A hidden bunker was built into the side of a canyon. Invisible from the sky, Raylan landed the ship smoothly. As they stepped out, an old human stood at the gate. Gray beard, cybernetic eye, and a long coat covered in dust. "Raylan," the old man said. "I hoped I'd never see you again." Raylan smiled faintly. "Same here." The old man looked at Lyra, narrowed his eye. "She's the one, isn't she?" Raylan nodded. "Omega code, buried deep." The man cursed under his breath. "You brought fire to my doorstep, son." "No," Raylan said. "We brought truth." Inside the bunker, the walls buzzed with tech. Screens glowed. Data danced like stars. Lyra stood in the center, her shirt lifted slightly to show the glowing line on her back. The old man placed a scanner on her spine. His face went pale. "This isn't just a key," he said. "It's a kill switch." Lyra's eyes widened. "For what?" "For planetary shields, defense systems, entire military networks. Someone buried power inside you. Enough to take down entire colonies if used wrong." She trembled. "And they threw me in a cage like garbage?" "Because they were afraid of what you are," he replied. Cliffhanger ending. Suddenly, the screens flashed red. "Incoming vessels, nitrogen monoxide." The old man turned to Raylan. They found her again. And this time, they brought a fleet. Raylan looked at Lyra. "You ready to stop running?" Lyra took a deep breath. Her fear melted into fire. "I'm done being their secret." The sky above the moon turned black. Raylan stood at the edge of the cliff, eyes sharp, hand resting on the blaster at his side. His breath came slow and steady. Lyra stood beside him, her arms crossed tightly, heart pounding in her chest. In the distance, 6 ships hovered in the clouds like silent monsters. No lights, no flags, no answers. Just shadows. The old man from the bunker, Commander Dell, stared at his scanner. No codes, no pings. "They're not talking. That means one thing. They're here to take her," Raylan said. "No," Lyra whispered. "They're here to erase me." She looked up at the sky, jaw tight. The girl who once sat in a cage now stood with her feet planted firm on the ground. No chains, no fear, only anger, only strength. Inside the bunker, sirens began to flash. The perimeter alert glowed red. "They're landing troops," Dell growled. "This place can't hold them off forever." Raylan turned to Lyra. "We can still run." "There's a back tunnel." "No," she said. Her voice was quiet but sharp. "I ran my whole life. They made me feel small, weak, dirty. But I'm not anymore." She stepped toward the control table and placed her hand over the glowing pad. "I want to know what they hid inside me. I want to know who I really am." Dell looked between them. "If she opens that file, she'd trigger every alarm in the sector." Raylan smiled grimly. "Then let them come." Outside, enemy drop pods fell like fire from the sky. Black-armored soldiers marched out, their helmets shining with green lights. No words, just movement. One raised a megaphone and shouted across the canyon, "Return the asset. No one else needs to die." Raylan stepped forward, blaster in hand. "You already made her die once. Not again." Lyra touched his shoulder. "I'll go," she said calmly, "but not as your prisoner. I'll go ... and show them what I carry." She walked out into the open. Rain hit her skin. Her white hair blew in the wind. No longer a weak, filthy girl, now she looked like a symbol. The enemy commander approached, helmet off. A human, cold, cruel eyes. "I knew you'd come back to us," he said. "I didn't come back," she replied. "I rose." He raised his brow. "We made you. You're nothing without our code." "No," she said. "You're nothing without me." Then she tapped her hand twice behind her back, a hidden signal. From the cliff, Raylan fired first. Clean headshot. The commander fell before he could react. Chaos exploded. Blaster fire lit up the canyon. Del activated the defense grid turrets rose from the rocks and began firing. Raylan ran down to meet her, covering her as they moved. Lyra dodged low, rolled into cover, then looked up at a soldier running at her. She didn't freeze. She grabbed a fallen stun baton and slammed it into his side. He dropped. She was fighting. She wasn't hiding anymore. Inside the bunker, Del connected her to the old military system. "You sure you're ready for this?" he asked. She nodded. "Let's find the truth." The pad read her DNA. Suddenly, the screens turned blue. "Welcome, Project Seraphim." Raylan's eyes widened. Seraphim, Del swore. That was a top-secret Earth defense program, meant to create a living override key. Someone who could end wars with one command. "You mean they made her ... a weapon?" Raylan asked. "No," Lyra said softly. "They tried to, but I'm not just a weapon." She placed her hand on the console and activated the code. Cliffhanger ending. All around the moon, enemy ships shut down. Engines died, weapons froze. The soldiers outside dropped to the ground, unconscious. Lyra collapsed to her knees. Exhausted, Raylan caught her before she hit the floor. "You stopped them," he said. "I didn't stop them," she whispered. "I owned them." And on the screen behind her, one final message appeared. "Command accepted. System now linked to user Lyra." Asterisk. The silence was loud. After all the shouting, the firing, the storm of fear, now only stillness. The air was heavy but calm. The enemy ships floated dead in orbit. The soldiers who had marched like machines now lay in stunned silence, harmless. And Lyra was breathing. Her chest rose and fell slowly as she lay on a clean cot in Del's bunker. Her hair was still wet from sweat. Her hands were shaking. Not from fear, but from release. For the first time in years, there was no one chasing her. Raylan sat beside her, watching, protecting, not with weapons, but with presence. "You did it," he said quietly. She blinked slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "I didn't know I could." "You didn't just shut them down," he said. "You saved this moon. Maybe more." She closed her eyes. "I'm not a tool." "No," he said. "You're the lock, the key, and the gatekeeper." Later, she stood outside the bunker, barefoot in the sand. The sky above was filled with stars, now calm, peaceful, endless. Her feet sank gently into the dirt. Her toes wiggled in it like she had never known what soft ground felt like. She looked up. No chains, no cages, no collars. Only stars. Raylan stepped up beside her. He held out something in his hand. It was her old collar. Burned. Broken. "I found this near the wreckage," he said. "I thought you might want to see it." She stared at it, and then slowly, carefully, took it in both hands. Then she tossed it into the fire behind them. The flames hissed and popped. The metal turned red, then black, then finally gone. Back inside, Del had pulled up more files on the screen. Hidden logs, old orders, proof. "They knew," Del said. "The generals, the scientists, they knew what they did to you." Lyra walked up behind him. Her eyes scanned the data. "I want it shared," she said. "All of it." "You sure?" Del asked. "Once this goes out, you'll be known across the galaxy." "Good," she said. "Let them know what they threw away." Del smiled for the first time. "You're not what I expected." "I never was," she replied. That night, Lyra sat by the fire with Raylan. The stars above blinked gently. She held a cup of warm tea, breathing in the soft steam. Rayla and sat close. Not too close. His jacket rested around her shoulders. "You're quiet," he said. "I'm still learning what quiet feels like," she answered. "Like peace?" She nodded. "Like peace." She turned to him, her voice soft. "Why did you pick me? Back at the market?" He took a deep breath. "Because you looked like someone who had more inside, and I was right." "I thought I was dirt," she whispered. "I saw gold under the dirt." She blinked fast. Her throat tightened. Then she smiled, small but real. No one ever told me that before. Well, he said, get used to hearing it. The next morning, Lyra walked to the small mirror in the back room. She looked at her. Reflection not to judge, but to understand that her skin still held scars. Her arms were thin, her hair wild, but her eyes were alive. She touched the glass. I'm not what they made me. She turned, walked out, and found Raylan waiting with a small pack. He handed it to her. What's this? She asked. Your own gear, he said. If you're going to change the galaxy, you'll need your own tools. She laughed, really laughed. A light sound, new, beautiful. Maybe I'll just start by learning how to live. That's the hardest part, he said. And the best. Cliffhanger ending. Del walked in with a serious face. Transmission just came in. Raylan stood. What is it? Del handed him a small pad. Lyra stepped forward and read the message. It said, to the girl who carries the key, we're not done with you yet. Below it, a signature, High Command. Raylan looked at her. Still want to hide? Lyra stared at the screen, fire returning to her eyes. No, she said. Let them come. The stars above her used to feel cold. Now. They watched her like old friends. Lyra stood at the edge of the hangar bay, a long black coat wrapping around her frame. Her white hair, now clean and tied back, flowed gently in the wind. The scars on her arms were no longer signs of weakness. They were marks of survival. Behind her, the old ship hummed softly, ready for launch. Beside her stood Raylan, calm, steady, proud, and across from them on the holoscreen, the face of High Command. We underestimated you, said the voice coldly. That was our mistake. No, Lyra answered, her tone sharper than ever before. Your mistake was believing I was nothing. 1 week earlier, they had sent the message. A threat disguised as a warning. An attempt to control her one last time, but she didn't run. She stood her ground. Raylan and Del helped her craft a reply. One she sent across the galaxy. You threw me away like trash. Now I control your systems, your codes, your secrets. If you come again, I won't just shut you down. I'll expose you to every world that trusted you. The galaxy had gone quiet. Then one by one voices began to rise. Refugees, forgotten soldiers, survivors. More like her. She wasn't the only one. She was just the first to fight back. Now High Command didn't dare send troops. They sent diplomats. They begged. We want peace, the voice on the screen said. No, Lyra replied. You want control again. We made you powerful. You owe us. Lyra stepped forward, fire in her eyes. You didn't make me powerful. You tried to break me. My power came when one man looked past the dirt, the chains, and the silence, and saw a person. She looked at Raylan. He didn't speak. He just nodded, eyes steady with quiet pride. Del entered the hangar, holding a small device. We finished it, he said. What is it? Lyra asked. Freedom, he answered. It was a data crystal, one that held every secret she carried. Every code, every weapon command inside her. Transferable. One-time use. If you give this away, Del warned, you're no longer there. Key. I don't want to be their key, she said. I want to be free. She stepped to the console, inserted the crystal, and set the transfer. The galaxy watched. Across hundreds of systems. Government saw the truth, the dark labs, the broken laws, the buried crimes, and they saw her name, Lyra, survivor of Project Seraphim, the one they called worthless. Later that night, she sat outside on the edge of the cliff, staring at the stars. Raylan brought 2 cups of tea and sat beside her. You did it, he said. She smiled softly. No, we did. Feel different? She nodded. I feel light, like I'm no longer carrying chains in my mind. He looked at her, his voice low. What will you do now? She looked up. I want to help others like me. The ones still in cages, the ones no one looks at. I want them to know they're not trash. They're never trash. Raylan smiled. You'll be a beacon. She turned to him. You could come with me. He raised an eyebrow. You giving me orders now? No, she said, leaning her head against his shoulder. I'm offering you a place beside me. He didn't answer right away, but his hand reached for hers, and he stayed. Final scene. A new ship flies through space. Not fast, not loud, just sure. Inside it, Lyra sits in the captain's seat. Clean, strong, alive. On the wall behind her is a symbol, a broken collar. Turned into wings, below it, carved in small words. They tried to hide a secret inside trash. But she became the spark that lit 1,000 lights. Lyra looks ahead. A message plays on the console from a distant world. A girl's voice. Please. If anyone hears me, they say I'm worthless. Please, Lyra smiles. She presses the button. I hear you. The ship jumps into hyperspace. And the stars welcome the girl they tried to erase.